know if I'll end up posting this, but I try to keep up with different places that I spent some time, or maybe I stayed there a while, and I'm talking usually about Southeast Asia. Now, I'm from the United States. I lived part of the year in the United States, and then I was in Thailand for a while. If you didn't know, I was in a relationship, married there, but I'm like a lot of guys, because I was going back to America very frequently and I wasn't fully retired. I just would do the 60 or 90 day, 60 day, 30 day extension. And I think that's a lot of guys, or they have a reason. Maybe they got a girlfriend there. I recently saw a video and there was a lot of comments about why they were doing what they're doing, about how they're getting stricter about asking you questions if you come in more than once in one annual year. Well, that happened to me. And I had only been in like 6 months before, actually the year before, and then once that year. And I was in and out, and I would sometimes, instead of going back to America, I would bounce over to Vietnam or Japan or something for a few weeks. And I told the person, I said, well, some people just have money saved and they decide to take off from their career a while. And she asked me, like Cal said, if you have a good reason, they'll give you another 60 days or 30 or whatever. Well, I did have a good reason. I was in a relationship. I was, basically telling them, they were like, well, why don't you just get married, get a marriage visa? I said, because A, I don't want to have to park that money, and B, I usually don't stay more than 3 months at a time. But I might come back twice in 1 year, 3 times. But I'm not a problem. I said, I'm not trying to cause a problem. And I said, I'm not who you're looking for, because I knew they were looking for suspicious activity, mainly, people that are not on the up and up. Maybe they're doing things they shouldn't be doing, or they're staying way over their tourist visa legally, or there might be somebody running some kind of scam, or maybe they're hiding from the law, or what. I don't really know. What's frustrating to me is, and yeah, sure, it's hard to get a visa to my country. People will say that, but the laws are clear. You either get one entry, multi-entry, you apply for it before you arrive. That's it. Now, there are certain countries that they can do an on-arrival card, just like the one in Singapore, Malaysia, similar to the one in Thailand now, the on-arrival. Kind of concerned because the law's not clear, but I was nervous. Hey, are they going to not let me in? I've been here twice this year. This is my second time. Well, let me tell you what's clear, okay? And what an actual immigration officer and a lawyer in Bangkok told me. He said it's 5 times, and then every time you came in through an airport or train, through immigration, they're gonna pretty much question you or indirectly harass you. That's the deal. But recently, because of different problems, and a lot of it they blame on the different scams and all the maybe criminal activity or whatever, Myanmar mainly, but a little bit Cambodia, plus they've had these problems with the Cambodian border. That's something to do with them. And you're normally not a threat, and you normally have money saved. And so to me, and I'm talking to any official, I'm just being feedback, I'm not trying to, I like Thailand, I like Vietnam, I like Cambodia, I enjoy my time there. I want to be clear that I like the people. Some of my best friends live in Thailand that are guys and girls, really good people, love the food. Just make the policy clear, quit flip-flopping. There's 2 reasons this happened. A, of course, money. They need tourist dollars. They're heavy dependent on tourism. They're so worried about losing face that sometimes their policies are short-sighted. And that's the only way I can say it without you not understand. In other words, I can't, just to be not sugarcoat it. If you ever watch my videos, I like to talk about a place with the place, about that place, what to expect about that attraction or that place, and logistically travel information and advice. I don't like making these videos. Matter of fact, I've had friends ask me, you've been traveling in and out of these countries, and you were married to a Southeast Asian girl for a long time, and you built a house here. Why don't you make videos about building a house, the visas, and I'm mainly talking to Westerner. or I go to a certain country, they're gonna say single entry, and then while you're in there, you can go to immigration and get usually 30-day extension. That's fine. But if you're doing it more than 1 year, I just wanna know multi. On the type O visa, the retirement, you pay an extra, I don't know what it is, it's like 4,000 or 5,000 baht that I pay through a visa agent for multi-entry. Just do that with everything. Make it where you can do 1 month extension unless you change your visa status. That's how it is in most modern countries. You can change status while you're there, especially if you get a lawyer or a legal service. That's good if you can get the paperwork done. Now, if it requires you going back out, even in my country, sometimes they want you to go back to your country, then go to the embassy and do it, the new visa. But that's a whole nother conversation. But make it clear, if you want me to only have 2 visits a year, after the 2, just say you can't come back unless you apply for student visa, marriage visa, retirement visa, elite visa, or DTV. You understand? Or you're a diplomat. Just one of those. That's how it is in America. I mean, we've been doing it for a while. I mean, we're doing something right over here, okay? I know a lot of people want to hate on us, and we're kind of tired of it. But, we do a lot of things right. That's why it's America. And let me tell you something. If you're not from one of these Southeast Asian countries, sometimes as a foreigner, yeah, you feel welcome as a tourist. But let me tell you something. I'm going to make a video about this. After you're there long term, you're second class. Second class. You hear what I just said. You can't vote, you can't own land, and there's no real pathway to citizenship, or it's really hard. You hear me getting excited. So yeah, sure, you can come mess around and be a backpacker or bring your family over there for 30 to 90 days. Most people are not going to come back for a while. And so it looks abnormal from what they said to me one time, because I was coming in and out a couple times during the year. And I said, listen, yeah, it's your job to question me. But I told her, I said, if your law was clear, then you wouldn't have to question me. And I would just put down what I was doing, relationship, tourist, whatever. And I would apply for multi-entry in advance. Just do that. But the problem is they want people to come because they don't want to tell you not to come. And part of it is, I get it. It's hospitality, it's the culture, and this. You know what this is? Losing face. Now, a lot of officials say, oh, I don't care about losing face. I don't want you to break law. But your law is kind of like very vague. It's very, and so you're susceptible to people possibly saying, oh, wow, I can this is sort of loose, so I can kind of maybe take advantage of this. And people do. I don't take advantage of it. Now, have I gone out and came right back? Yeah, because the law said I could, Thailand. Your choice, you and your parliament, to change your law. If you want people to come, just explain it to them up front. We need, after 60 days, you get 1 30-day. The 7-day will help, because I get it. They're doing that second one to help you figure out what you're doing so you can, take care of your business, or take care of not your business, but, your travel arrangements. I get that. I appreciate that. Everybody does. But just make it clear. It's not the visas. That guy Cal, if you want to know about the different visas, besides what I talked about today, watch his video. He broke it down really good, and he's there a lot more than me, him and his girlfriend. He broke it down great, Cal. Good job. But what the problem is part of it, it's the nature of the region. Very heavy tourism, very heavy people that are come from other countries that are overstaying. But that doesn't mean it's everybody. Very heavy on kind of just carefree kind of thing. Instead, just, most people will be able to enjoy the country, spend some money in 30 to 60 days. If not, just like most modern countries, or even non-modern, if I go to certain countries, there's certain countries, they want to know after a couple months, what am I going to do? If not, I got to exit. Just do that. Don't make it, well, maybe if you show up, if you talk a good story, we're going to let you in, but you got to be nervous about it. Really? That's what happened to me. And I had a reason. And I told her, well, your law says that you can decide and not let me in if I'm a problem. But I told her I'm not doing anything wrong. But your law says if you don't find that I'm doing something wrong, what I know to read your law is I can come in as many times I want, in and out, as long as I fly out for a couple days and come back. She said, you know, you're right. And she said, it's not clear. I said, yeah. And that was an immigration officer at DMK. Just make it clear. Then you won't have these problems, Thailand. You know, so frustrated, and part of it is losing face. The other part is dollars or euro or whatever kind of currency for spending on tourism. And I get it. It's part of the GDP. But just, I made a comment in a blog the other day, hey, we appreciate you giving us extensions on arrival visa with no visa, but just make it clear so we don't have a headache or get nervous or get rejected for somebody that's just suspicious, but we did nothing wrong. I had a lot of thumbs up about that comment. You know, most people from a modern country, they have a job, they have a house. They're not trying to cause a problem. Now, there are people hanging out there in that country that are just what they call in America, they call them squatters. There's an old term. Well, I mean, sure, any country, including where I'm from in America, we'd love to see you come and spend money, especially if you're just on vacation and you're no threat. Now, of course, a lot of people, I think that's a lot of guys, or they have a reason. Maybe they got a girlfriend there, or they just don't want to change a marriage visa or a retirement, because the retirement, unless you have someone park money for you that's like a friend or a relative, it's going to cost you, around $20,000. The DTV is going to be $15,000, American dollars, roughly. I'm rounding here. And then, okay, is there problems here? Sure. Is there problems everywhere? Sure. But I'm talking about the recent policy changes or the flip-flopping with tourist and long-term stay visas, mainly in Thailand where I spend time, because I like Thailand. I like the people. Some of my really good friends are there. There's an old saying, if you don't like the message, don't kill the messenger. I'm just a messenger guy making videos that's just a normal guy that's had some backstory. That's it. I don't make or break your laws, okay? Let's keep that in mind. All right, we'll see you later, or at least I try not to. All right, have a good day. We'll see you later.